to welcome everyone to the February 6th, 2026 Geneva IDA meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. February.
Oh, I gotta read that, sorry.
2026.
Sorry.
Oh, that's me.
Nice voice.
We good?
We should be set.
All right, do I need to go again? No, all right. Well, would you read the mission statement, please?
The Geneva IDA was created to promote, develop, encourage, and assist in acquiring, constructing, maintaining, equipping, and furnishing certain types of projects and facilities to advance the job opportunities, health, general prosperity, economic welfare, and recreation opportunities of the city's citizens of the city of Geneva.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Okay, are there any additions? We have the agenda before us. Any additions or deletions? Anything you want to add? All right, good. All right, we also have the January 9th, 2026 minutes. Like a motion to approve. Is there any corrections? I need the motion first to approve and then.
I'll move to.
Okay. Okay, are there any corrections? I have one.
You found.
Okay.
If I could, it said that I look forward to the resistance.
Oh,
from
that's
the
probably.
city. I mean, I probably do, but I would like to say assistance.
Yes.
Other than that, all good.
Okay, I will fix that.
I made a banner that says that.
We've already sent it off.
All right. It all sounds good. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I
Approved, okay.
with correct.
Financial report, Amy?
Yes, so I do have an update from the Webster report. They provided 3 tours in January. They have 1 pending lease agreement.
Financial report.
Oh, financial, sorry,
Yeah,
wrong one.
You jumped ahead
I
one.
jumped ahead.
Yeah.
And I have an extra copy here.
Okay.
Not a lot of activity, once again. You will see not a lot of changes. One of the things that we did talk about is cash flow has been a little tight. And so we have had to move from a CD into the cash flow side of things.
That happened, yeah.
Can I have a copy of that? Sorry.
Josh, you're gonna ask me questions.
Oh my gosh, only if I have a copy. No, I did send a few questions.
Let me know that he had received those. And so I don't have more in depth. If you need more in depth, you can hold the approval for next month because Adam is not here and have not crossed paths. And
Okay, then next month?
Yes.
Good, okay. The auditor.
yeah.
Right. Okay, like motion to approve the minute of the financial report as it's been stated.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. RJ, thank you. All in favor, say aye. All right. Okay, Amy, would you like to give us the Webster report?
Sure, I'm prepared for that one. So Webster report, they did hold 3 tours in January. They do have 1 pending lease agreement with Samson Glass. It's $500 per month. I don't know which space. I did not get that information. They are preparing lease renewals with 4 tenants, Jason Swartley, Geneva Theater Girl, Banner Door, and the Geneva Sound Factory. They also, we're going to talk more about the work that is being done. Department of Labor had reached out about some concerns with asbestos abatement. And so they are working on getting quotes for that and assisting with that. At the same time, later in your agenda, when it pertains to the GEDC, you'll see we're going to discuss a release of a request for proposals to demo Building C. That was something that had been identified as a need in the CNS engineering study, has since been condemned. So that space has been fully condemned. No one can enter that space. And in the 2026 budget process of City Council, because again, this is a unique asset in a lot of ways. The city rents this asset from from the IDA and has some shared interest. As you guys know, and Kyle's new to this, we do not pay as a city a large rental fee. But what we do is assist with maintenance of the building. We did allocate funding, council allocated funding to assist with the demolition of building C. We will go out with an RFP and we'll talk more about that RFP, which is in draft format right now. We do need to finalize it with Stephen and others before we get it out to demo that portion. This additional work that we would be through Department of Labor, things like wrapping some piping and some other things, closing off an area. It won't be available for rental for some time because it needs more serious abatement. And I know Lowell had actually spoke with a couple of these companies and have passed them on to Webster to receive final quotes. We will not go for a full RFP because this needs to happen at a much quicker pace. Department of Labor has been very helpful, has identified even for the larger demolition, some additional potential funding sources as well as other things. It was not, their visit was called by an employee in the GEDC. And they were very in, again, looking at a facility that is aging, was built a long time ago, and we are using for a new course of action. So those are the updates. If anyone has questions, I hope to assist.
This isn't a question. I'd just like to say, Reuse Systems, Inc. Is now, thanks to everyone for letting us in there. We moved, I think, 470 items into the space that was allotted to us. It has a little narrow, it looks like a hoarder's home, you know, little narrow pathway through it, lots of chairs and cabinets and bookshelves and whiteboards and all kinds of things. So we're looking forward to staging a pop-up somewhere, lots of ideas in motion there, but thank you for that. And it's really helped us a lot to get where we need
out of the building you were hoping to?
No, that would be impossible.
I mean, are you done taking?
We're done because
They had to
we
kick
spent a
off.
whole week just, you know,
Yeah.
borrowing trucks and, you know, everything we could do to move things. We got about $600 in scrap metal. I mean, stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it was amazing. So, yeah, we did it as long as we could, but then asbestos, et cetera,
They had to get-
taken over.
They literally shut the lights off on you, Jan.
Oh, we were in the dark. Yeah.
They had headlamps.
We had
and stuff out.
headlamps on. Yeah, doing it.
They-
It was quite and I got cut from the metal. I had to go get a tetanus shot. You know, it was just like one thing after another, but it was like, let's do this. You know,
That's great.
it was great.
One thing about the report, I guess, or the memorandum that I wrote about the two
Mhm.
companies. Miles asked me for that.
Mhm.
Cause he was confused whether I was going to get prices. I said, nah, it was out of my purview. So I gave him the memo. Maybe you knew that. So, okay,
Thank you for that.
yep.
Yeah, I think that we're on a path towards remediation and I'll work more with Webster to get this finalized through that. So,
Okay.
I sent a lot of pictures too, like 50.
yes.
I don't know if he has them, but there's a lot. But it doesn't all have to be done, in my opinion. If we're not occupying a room for a long, long time, I can just sit.
And that was the discussion with the state agencies as well, is if it's not being utilized, we have to clearly identify that it's not being utilized and there is asbestos in that area. But we can phase this in, so it's not
Right.
all at once.
I guess also on the demolition, if I could get a printout, I have trouble reading it.
Copies right here.
Oh, okay. So this is
They are.
just the RFP. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Thanks.
That's all I have for Webster's report.
Okay. It was not on the agenda and I should have thought it, but I want to welcome our new member, Kyle. Thank you for coming up, joining the crew. You'll see we're very informal within the confines of Robert's Rules of Order, which I don't necessarily pay attention to, but. We will, welcome, we do. Lowell read our mission statement. I mean, that's what we strive to do, and we run hot and cold here. I mean, we have years where there's very little activity, but we still meet, so we're ready to jump on anything that comes before us. So, well, that's kind of our routine here. We hope that you'll be able to contribute. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah, all right. Okay, now we're on to Trey. I see that you're on the oh. Yes, that's correct. All right, I got taken. You're on the call. Thank you. You were going, obviously you've applied to the IDA for a pilot. We have your application with us here. Do you want to say a few words about the projects? Many of us have heard your presentation, which is a number of times over a number of meetings, and we appreciate your diligence and resilience to keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Well, I did. I did have another one here for you if it would be helpful. I don't know how many people are familiar with it. I don't want to gloss over anything, so I'm happy to run through it just in case there's some folks in the room that aren't familiar with it. We can do an abridged version just to get everybody caught up to what we've been talking about for the last year, if that's acceptable, or if you'd rather I can just talk about it.
No, please, we have the time and we'd like to hear what you have to say.
Okay, that's no problem. I just
Because
want
it
to make sure.
it is an important project for us. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna send a request to share if that's possible. I don't know if somebody needs to click a button.
What he needs to share.
Oh, sorry.
Just allow him.
All right. Let me know when it's on your screen there.
Technology. Is it allowing you to share, Trey?
I think so. Let me double check here. I think well, maybe I need to request it again. I apologize. Yeah. I think I needed to make a request and then click it again. So can you guys see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Don't look at all the things you shouldn't be looking at. No. Don't look at how the sausage is made. That's never good. Anyway, I appreciate you all having me here today. I'll be brief through this just because a lot of you have known it, but I do want to just make sure if anybody has any questions or wants me to stop at any point, explain it. I'm happy to do that. I just don't want to take up too much of your time with things if you're already familiar with it. So I'll try to go through it a little bit at a faster pace, but again, just holler if something's needs to be expounded upon. So yeah, we're here talking about the what we're calling the Lithio Flats development at the old OEO site. The name is based on research that we found that there was a former spring there called Lithia Springs, located near and around where that site was in the old ice rink. And so we just flipped it a little bit to have a little bit of the Lithia Springs, but also a little bit of the OEO site in it. So that's where we came up with OEO. People more clever than I am came up with that. But if anybody's going, what is that name? That's where it comes from, trying to pay some homage to what was there before. So thank you all for having us here. Again, I'm Trey Barber. I'm with Pivotal Housing Partners. We're a multifamily housing developer, specifically focused on affordable housing. Background on us, we are a national group based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I run development efforts in Pennsylvania and New York. I'm based out of Pittsburgh, is where I am. And we are active in 17 states and have a little over 11,000 homes that we've developed in 200 communities across those states. Other folks we're working with are Greenleaf Builders out of Rochester, Hunt Engineers that you're all familiar with out of Rochester as well. And then BDCL Architects is our architect on this. BDCL is an affiliate of Pivotal. They are sort of in-house architectural group that handles most of our developments outside of anything that we do that may be like an adaptive reuse. Any new construction builds they handle for us internally. So how do we get here? The city issued an RFP or an RFQ. I think I mean, many of you are familiar with it, right? The site sat there for a long time. So I think this is the latest RFQ maybe that has been issued by the city sometime in the fall of 24. We responded to that RFQ. Were interviewed with the city in February and then selected as preferred developer by City Council in March of 2025. Since that time, we've been having bi-weekly meetings with the city staff and a subcommittee of council members focused on really determining what this project is. This was instead of an RFP where a developer or somebody is coming with an idea, we came with here's our experience of what it is that we do. Let's try to craft this end project together between these committees and us and our development team. So we focused on design, overall market, lots of budgeting conversations, and then the local approval process and getting through that as we go. What are we proposing? It's about a $30 million investment in downtown, public-private partnership in there, reuse of this vacant site. You're all familiar with it. The site will be put back on the tax rolls and might be the first time maybe it's been on the tax rolls in the city. We'll bring more residents and workers into town. And the overall development is we're not just a developer in developing these things and moving on. We are a developer, owner, and manager. So everything that we develop, we're not a developer flipper. Everything that we've developed in our portfolio, we still own. We manage it, so out of the 200 or so employees that Pivotal has across the country, probably 150 or 160 of them are on the management compliance side of things. So we take that seriously, to not only just to manage our risk as a developer owner, but to also make sure that we maintain clear lines of communication in the communities that we develop in. That's important to us. Current condition, again, it might be snow covered now there in Geneva, but this was on a sunnier day. But you're all familiar with the site, I'm sure. So this is the proposed development, that we're looking at. It's really, again, a 64-unit apartment building that we're fitting into that kind of 300-foot gap there along Exchange Street. We did our best through the process, and I'll show you a little bit about our process here quickly later on of trying to kind of knit this back in, take a modern building, not try to copy what was, done historically, because we can't really do that and build like that anymore, unfortunately, but to just provide some context and homage to, what was there in the past, but with a little bit of a modern flair. So that's what the building ends up looking like, trying to stagger, different storefronts. But behind all of that is one functioning building, that operates as one. That's the site itself. You can kind of see how the building fits in there. It's that dark gray in the middle there in context with the rest of the surrounding properties. This was part of the overall conversation that we had throughout the committee process of looking at the design standards and the historic standards that are there in your downtown, and sketching these things out and having those conversations and really trying to pick the pieces, of your community that we can to incorporate into the overall design that we had that has evolved over time. Overall building layouts, again, a big rectangular of a building here, so nothing particularly special here. This is a project that we're working, directly, and I'm going to be applying to New York HCR on. So there are design standards and other things like that we need to meet their criteria. We'll also, meet all the visibility requirements and ADA requirements that are required, by law and fair housing, both at the state and local level and federal level within this building as well. This is, I guess more of a elevation, of what the building is, and how it would look as opposed to that rendering that you saw before. This kind of gives you a sense of the front and back, kind of calling out different awning types, different window patterns, that we're looking at here. And then, how the back of the building, would be looking as well. These are some of the, I guess, test fits, neighborhood analysis, I guess we would call it, of kind of dropping the overall building into the street to see how it would look and get a sense of scale and understanding from a variety of different angles, throughout it, going up on the hill, closer to the college, looking down over the lake, trying to understand, are we blocking views? How does this incorporate into the overall feel of town? And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We're maintaining a 3-story building along Exchange Street, and then there is a 4th story kind of down below. But as you can see here, it kind of fits in contextually. It's not an 8-story or 10-story building we're proposing here. Just something that falls in line with the context around it. Then we looked at from the other side, from the 5 and 20, also from the lake views, trying to understand, how this would fit into your overall city. Where are we today? This is kind of outlines the calendar of events that we've been doing over the last year. It was about this time last year that we started talking. February, we had the city council interview. There we were approved as preferred developer in March. Then we started the bi-weekly meeting process, meeting every other week throughout this. In September, we had a town hall meeting. The first meeting was focused on local businesses in town, and giving them an opportunity to hear about the project firsthand, provide feedback and any concerns that they have. Then we had a charrette at the farmers market during that time in October, and then we had a full town meeting open to the public at the end of October as well. Once we took the feedback and all of that stuff and developed what you see here today, on November 5th, City Council approved the property sale of it, where we're still finalizing those details, but at least I should say, I guess, approved the right to negotiate negotiate on the sale of the property. I guess I don't know what the right term is, but we're working on it right now together. November 19th, we had planning board introduction, referred to the public hearing December 17th. We did have planning board public hearing, and the project was approved. Final overall thoughts on where we're at here, just to recap. It's about a $30 million investment, 64 new homes in your downtown. From a design perspective, we tried to be contextual and thoughtful in how we're approaching this process, and the end product that we have. The local impact here is really a workforce housing product, that will, help the residents. Is not by any means does not limit seniors moving in here. We anticipate that happening as well. But also, the end goal here is to help the workforce out as well within the town of bringing more shoppers, but also bringing some of those workers that may be outside of town, giving them an affordable option to live within your downtown district. And again, I always like to note, long-term management is by Pivotal, not a third-party group. I harp on that maybe more than other developers do, just because I do strongly believe that most people can build you a nice building, and is something that everyone is happy about when we're cutting ribbons. But I do think the true test is the management company behind that, and how that's going to look 10 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever that may be. And when I've moved on from being the front here, and now we have the back of house folks making everything happen, is the town and community still happy with the end product that we are providing? So I do think that that's a very important aspect. In terms of the pilot, we did submit the application. I heard you guys talking earlier. I do think the application fee should have been delivered earlier this week, so I do think you should have that there. I do apologize. We did have a couple things that we missed on the initial application, but we did resubmit that to Adam earlier this week. So I do think you should have the latest and greatest iteration, and we're happy to continue to work with staff as necessary to define this, and we would anticipate working with everyone going forward here. But the way that we're looking at this in terms of how we determine pilot needs, and you guys have probably heard this, but we tend to look at it in a two-step process. This is an income restricted property, it being workforce and affordable. So the income approach, to this development is important to look and set value. You can think of this as the 581A process or whatever it may be. The income approach to this, right? So we're building a $30 million project, but with some of the restrictions and limitations that are put on the project, its overall value, is much less than that. If we were to turn around and sell it with the income restrictions and some of the other restrictions that we have placed on by HCR and other funding sources, the value of it isn't 30 million. So there's a disparity that starts off on day one. So we layer that first, right? We figure out that standard first, and then we take a look at what we call the economic feasibility, the economic approach, and layer this in here. And that's where we sit there and say, if those two things don't meet, then that's the conversation that we need to be having, the but-for conversation that we need to be having with the IDA. So through the economic approach, we're here to determine the sustainable tax capacity of the development. What can we do? What is fair between us, what we need, and what the city is looking to get out of it. And that's based on obviously stabilized operations after maximizing all the financing opportunities that we can, from conventional debt to HCR financing, any required reserves that are placed on these things. That there's hefty reserve language that happens on these projects by a lot of the different funding sources, and rightly so, to make sure that a project that, is not necessarily market in terms of, if we have a cash flow problem one year, we can raise the rents the next year and fix it. We're not allowed to do that, in these circumstances. So these reserves are put in place to make sure that, the development is properly maintained going forward. So that is an important component to it. So that's the overall process, that we're excited to have that conversation, with you and your staff, and then present you where we all end up, after that. I think the next steps are, there's a cost benefit analysis that the city is doing to have that, and we can feed all of that information together and start having that conversation based off of that information and the information we can have, and hopefully come to agreement here over the next month or so, and see where we're at, or whatever the standard process is. I don't want to rush things if it doesn't need to be rushed. But our overall goal in terms of timing on this, right, is we are looking to apply, to HCR for these tax credits, which is sort of the foundational framework, the spine that holds all of this project together. HCR has not officially announced when that round is. We were gearing up for a springtime round that they were anticipating having. I haven't heard that might not happen, but I haven't heard that it is either. So if anything, if that round does not happen, then this would be happening sometime in the fall. Last year it was due right at the beginning of September. So our goal is to be ready for either of those, and to put ourselves in the best position from a funding request to the state, but also politically in the terms of all of the other projects that are being requested across the state. Sometimes those that are ready first are the ones that get picked first. So we want to be in a situation where we're ready to respond as quickly as we can to HCR, but also make sure that we're valuing all of your time and efforts of you all, both at the IDA, but also within the city and the residents there. So that's our overall process. That's the quick and dirty of where we were, where we've been, where we are. There's still a lot of runway ahead of us to make this thing a reality, but this is just the next step that we need to make. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Trey. I appreciate it. We have a few questions, I'm sure. But I
do too.
We have received the application. I noticed in the application, the pilot schedule, is that to be determined after the CBD?
Yes, we're gonna work on so there's a couple pieces that we still have to do. This is the initial to move
Application.
towards to the CBA approval. So we'll work with Trey and his team to develop the schedule based on CBA as well as their needs.
Right, okay. Right, so we'll see that at a future date.
I think one thing that we should do outside of this pilot is going through the application process now. This is my second time through it. We can look at the application and how to update it in the best way, because there's a lot of, we need this before we can do that. And we're asking for some of the things, but not all of the things. So I think there's there probably, I know you guys love a good committee, but there probably could be a nice committee. I'm looking right at you, Josh, because you probably have things that you would rather see on the application. It may be something we want to consider
Okay.
that makes it easier for you to have more information before we prepare the CBA as well as during the process.
So that in-depth financial questions might be premature at this point.
They may, but they may also help guide the CBA process, so,
All right.
and I know Lowell has a bunch, so.
Just quickly, on the HCR, if you don't get that, is the project dead?
Yes, yeah, it is the critical component to the project. So these tax credits, like like I said, are kind of like the spine of everything that everything is built off of, the foundation to it. So they are the critical aspect. I do strongly believe that with the process that we've built, and I think this was Amy and David West's idea when this was all thought of in the beginning, was how do we create a situation where we make sure Geneva is off on the best foot when funding requests are put forward. And so having that instead of you coming to us, developer, with your idea, let's form that idea together in a public process. So I do think from that perspective, it is a unique way of doing it. A lot of cities are much more of come tell us what you can do here, and do it that way. This is much more city up, grassroots up way of doing it. So I do think that will be viewed quite favorably for it. I don't know if there's anything, I don't want to misspeak there, Amy, if that's misrepresenting any of the process, but that's the way that I look at it, that we'll be in a very good position for it.
So anything we can do to support that, we're doing it.
Correct.
This is in my opinion, a very good project. Great. Okay.
Yes, and this is the basis for the financial stack is their HCR funding. And we have had the conversation a lot of times with HCR, you may have to apply more than once. So I do want to say if this round, the funding is not provided to the city, we've already discussed that we'll learn from the round and go at least another time. I don't know how many times, but we will, it's not just, we'll try if we don't get it. Nothing will be built though until that funding is achieved and nothing will be removed. So I know that has been a concern. We've had other projects that the financial stack didn't work out and there was already some movement on site. We have been committed and through our contract with ours being the city, it's always interesting which hat I'm wearing when. With Pivotal, there will not be any movement of the actual property until the financial stack is in place.
Even just to clarify there, even the sale of the property right now. So, we're negotiating that, saying all of this stuff is all conditioned together so that nobody gets over their skis on either side of this.
Right.
What we definitely don't want to do, and maybe other folks are happy with it, but we don't like spending money until we know that we can actually do what we're promising to do for you. So, it's our goal to wrap all of the end financing in together. One financial closing where we close on all of the equity that these credits generate, any other bank financing, conventional debt, soft funds that we have going into the deal, and the city property all at once, so that when that closing happens, the project is happening, and it will be done, at that point. So no starts and stops in this process.
Thank you, Trey.
Sure.
Question?
Hi, Trey, I'm Josh. I'm sure you've been briefed. I ask a lot of questions.
No problem.
So I'm just going to go through some things on the application. They're just more so just to cross some T's and dot some I's. On page 2 of the application, and I might butcher their names, Michael Reichman and Brian McGeady are noted to own 15% or more in the equity holdings of our applicant, but the ownership percentages are not stated. Do you know what their ownership percentages are in the applicant?
I do not know that offhand. I don't want to misrepresent it, but I can absolutely figure that out.
Okay, thank you for that. And then also related to this, on box 2, or in a box, I believe it's on page 3, there are 2 partners related to PHP Group Holdings, the applicant. Just to confirm, that is Michael and Brian as well.
Yes, that is Pivotal, you know what I mean, as a whole, and they are the two managing partners of Pivotal and are the, you know, the majority owners, you know, of
Okay. And this is a 9% application.
that is correct, sir.
Okay. And then just to confirm again, I'm just trying to understand the structure of ownership. Pivotal Housing Partners is the parent company of our applicant PHP.
That's correct.
Okay. And they're both probably materially owned by Michael and Brian. So it would be really helpful, and this I think is on page 2 or 3 of the application, to have an ownership structure breakdown to see who owns what. It just helps us get an idea of who's all involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Josh, if you can send your questions to Nicole and I as well, one for minutes, but that way we can make sure that we help streamline getting those back. You know, if there's more in depth. I'm sure Trey's keeping notes as well, but I think it's always helpful to have the original notes.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
And then on page 7 of the application,
Mhm.
where it talked about labor and materials to be procured in Ontario County, it says to be determined. Is there any idea, and it may be too preliminary at this point, how much would be procured in Ontario County?
I mean, we can definitely ask, you know, the GC to make, it would just be an estimate, you know, and so we were hesitant to, you know, commit to any amount. You know, our goal is to do as much as possible, you know, there, of using local labor and materials, on that front. We haven't gotten to that stage of bidding all of this stuff out at that point, but you know,
Sure.
we are using, our plan is using a GC, you know, that's based, you know, a little bit north of you guys, based out of Rochester. So they should know, you know, the market that's around there, and we can, I can definitely try to ask them to get some estimates on that. But we were hesitant to, you know, state
provide an estimate.
a percentage at this point when we haven't put it out to bid fully,
Sure.
done some of those things.
Sure. And the reason why we ask that is because a portion of that figure feeds into temporary employment, and if there's not a sales tax abatement, a sales tax estimate for the CBA.
Sure.
So that just trickles on down, positively or negatively for the CBA.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we can get you something to be able to plug in.
Okay, perfect. And then similarly on the same page, and it's probably too preliminary for this one as well, but the permanent financing of 1.35 million, it just says that it's to be determined or not yet. Do we, or how is that process with Pivotal? Do you guys usually get all the approvals and then seek financing, or how does that work internally for you guys?
Yeah, so yeah, we build the capital stack, and then we work of state credits, federal credits, any gap funding that we have into that, and then we work backwards, to determine our debt coverage ratio of permanent debt that we can support,
Okay.
for it. So at this point, any commitment, I think that any developer were to come to you on bank financing is only worth what it's worth at the time that you're actually closing, if that makes
Sure.
sense. So as your underwriting and all of those things change, those things change as well. So we're backing into this based off of, our experience and best industry practices to say, this is the amount of permanent debt that this project can absorb, based off of these metrics, that we have, the rents generated, the operating, costs that the project has, the taxes, that come into this thing as well. So based off of that, this is how we determine it, right? There's other variables that also pop into it, right? Interest rates, those types of things that vary by quarter. We've been kind of going up and down on those things there. So these are the best estimates that we have at this moment in time that we would anticipate based off of our experience as a seasoned developer of where we'll be when the project's ready to go.
And then just two more things, and someone already touched on this one, the schedule for the pilot. It sounds like this is going to be more like an estimate between the city and and the developer? How does this one,
So it's gonna be tied to what the CBA comes up with as well,
Okay.
because I think what we found in one of the previous pilots discussion, there was a lot of tweaks back and forth.
Okay.
And to stop those tweaks, because
Okay.
there's a cost associated with every time we update the CBA.
Right.
I want to dive a little deeper into that before you get that.
okay,
That makes sense?
yes.
And also, Josh, I think you may be helping me with that piece.
Sure. Just let me know.
Just a heads up.
And then just one more question, Trey, thank you so much. You've been great. We noticed a developer fee of 3.7 million. Who is this paid to?
So the developer fee is paid to us as a developer. In this particular case, we are the sole developer at this point, of it. That's the cost of work time, the guarantees and everything that we do to get through that. These projects, tend to take, between 3 to 5 years to come to fruition. So that's the cost that comes to us. If you're talking about the specific folks, it's a company profit that comes into the company itself to do that. And then we utilize that for our day-to-day operations of how we work. Part of that gets reinvested into these deals as well, as you'll see down at the lower line item down there of deferred developer fee. So part of that also gets used as gap resources as we move forward to, try to make these things pencil.
This is actually just more broad questions, and these are my last 3 questions or 2. Do we have any current or historic financial information on the applicant, affiliates, any of that?
We do not. So this is
We
the
don't.
first time.
This is the first time. Okay.
Okay, well, and right, this is your second New York State project or third?
This is our second. We have one in Buffalo.
Okay.
So we don't have that
Okay.
past relationship. If there's certain aspects, I'm sure we can work with Trey on some of
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we can figure out how to get you all that information. There's always a hesitation of counsel that we have of be careful what everyone's seeing, those types of things. But we're happy to work with you guys to make sure that we get you the information that you need to make sure that we're a legitimate, organization with proper resources to fulfill these things. So we're used to those requests, so we can get you that.
Yeah, the
I always put the
financials.
caveat of what the lawyers say on there. It's always kind of like, guys,
No,
they make me say it every time. So
No, that's understandable. Yeah, the financials and a pro forma or projection for the property are gonna be important.
sure.
But that's all I got.
Yeah, our goal here is to be transparent with you all, go through the process. I know that the cost benefit is underway. We can tie that stuff into our overall projections that we have for it. And our projections are backed with market data and those types of things that we need to have to make sure that these things are based in reality. So we're happy to have those conversations with you and staff as necessary.
Okay, Trey, thank you for joining us and giving us all that information and for answering some questions. We'll look forward to the next steps here and, good luck with your application.
All right. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Trey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trey.
So our next, are there any other questions now that he's off? Okay,
We're good.
But 3.7 million probably includes all his engineering and architectural costs, and some of it's in-house, but I bet that's there.
So legal, architecture and engineering is categorized as a soft expense of 1.7, so that's already excluded.
Okay. They put a lot of effort up front to make this work over like 3 years or so,
So,
and they may not even get there. So
correct. I think obviously
it's quite a risk.
This fee carries over into the project, they're solvent, so they can do this work ahead of time without guarantee of a payday. And we're not paying them anything to do that thing, yeah.
No, they are doing this all on that shared development model that is slightly different than traditional development. As Trey mentioned multiple times, we put out the RFQ to create this together. They were the respondent to the RFQ, and it's been a long road to get to this point.
So their previous development fees from other projects is paying for their effort here today.
Probably.
Right, at least that's one way to look at it. Now, we need to authorize the CBA
Yes.
funds. Do you want a motion to approve that? And what's that amount, about 1,000?
It depends on how many changes are done to the CBA each time. There can be most, I would say authorize up to 3,000 because that's about where we landed last time.
Is it? Yeah.
But I would say up to. I am, of course, going to, and that's one of the reasons why I had pointed to Josh on some of the questions, and if others have questions, we will work through that before we go to the CBA process, so that way it will cut it down.
Okay, so I'd like a motion to approve an expense of $3,000 to cover the CPA for this CBA.
CBA, yep.
Is that consultant's fee or is it the city's fee or?
That is a fee outside of the city, so we work with MRB Group.
Oh, right,
and others.
right. They have that fill-in chart. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is just a request to make a distribution, not order the CBA yet.
No, it would be ordering the CBA and working through that.
Okay,
We have to approve the pilot before they actually put in their application. So, I mean, we have to go through this as if, it is happening and,
Right.
like he said, nothing will happen until everything is wrapped up, but
okay.
I mean, that's what they needed planning board approval, they needed our approval and, everything, all the
Yeah.
ducks in a row before they actually present the project to the state.
So the CBA will help you make the decision. You'll still have to hold a public hearing and all of that, but prior to the public hearing, we'd like to have that CBA. The finalized packet will be posted to the website, so all of the community can see that cost benefit analysis. And so timeline, once we have this approval, it allows me to contract with our outside firm to create the CBA, so then you can start to make your decision points and then hear from the public as well as the
And
makers.
of course, the abatement actually will be filled in by then.
Correct.
All right. Motion to approve the authorization of the CBA.
I'll move.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Well, second. All right, thanks. RJ, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, hang on, I'm trying to figure something out. We are missing material pieces for the CBA,
Correct.
material pieces.
Right.
So I guess, are we okay with like spending the money initially if we're missing those material pieces?
So we'll work with Pivotal to have all of that before. This is just authorizing staff.
Okay,
Or remember,
Okay.
hey, contract with the city.
Okay.
That's where it always gets confusing.
Okay.
Contract with the city staff through the city to do this.
okay,
And so we will work with them to prepare that between Taylor and I.
Okay.
And then we'll get the CBA order.
Okay.
We won't do that prior.
So this is just like a budget set aside to
Okay.
cover them.
okay, so if it's an allocation, that's fine, yeah, bye.
Good job.
I think we had a positive vote, so that's been passed. The authorization for the RFP, the demolition, you said you were going to work on the wording on the demolition of the building over at the GDC? That's the next.
Building C.
So we gave you the draft RFP for that. And what that is now, I just need to finalize that with legal to make sure it has all the assurances in there. What this does is gives us authorization once legal has finalized their assurances to release the RFP. And then from there, we'll be able to determine who's going to be able to demo this building.
You look it over, Kyle?
I will, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see. So usually when you put an RFP out, you have an idea of the cost, so you can make sure you have a budget so you can cover it. Right?
So we do have a budget to cover up to a certain cost. We were advised not to put it in the RFP.
Right,
Because-
yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah, just as long as you have something that you compare when you
Yes,
receive bids,
yes.
you can say, the estimate is this.
Yes, and CNS did give you an estimate on the potential costs as well, which is in their engineering report.
Everything was $500,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
That's right.
That was easy for them to plug that in. Okay, then are we giving them drawings and all or square footages?
So they'll get the full CNS report, which has the drawings and the square footage down.
Okay, and then did that include our? Were we doing surveys where the surveyor went inside with the 3D thing with the shape of?
Yeah, MRB did that when you're contracting with them. If we,
I don't know if they went into that building. 'Cause
I don't-
we weren't allowed in there, but
I don't think they did because there wasn't an egress in there. So,
yeah, if you have that, it may be handy for these guys, so they don't have to measure.
yeah, let me pull the MRB files. But as you say that, I think there were spaces they didn't go into and would not be surprised if this was one of the spaces.
I read through this, you also.
Yeah, I'll read it too.
I read through it fairly quickly, but there's no, from what I can see, talk about the party walls and the reconstruction of that.
Mhm.
And if in fact,
Yeah.
because that was something that was in the CNS report that
Yep.
that
Yep.
as they take the building down, the building that it's,
There is a site restoration part here. It says repair any damaged adjacent infrastructure,
Yes,
okay.
but I don't know if,
we can,
I don't know how detailed that is.
we
That
can
was
make
my
it
question.
much, yeah, we can make it more explicit that, well, yep.
And the wall that's onto the newer section, that's been water compromised for years.
Yes.
And where the book goes to that from the new building.
Right.
I think it needs to anticipate that. I don't know how they would determine that on their response to the.
No, I think that's, yes. And one thing we may see is we may have, and there's an add-on piece component to this where they could apply for a partial RFP. Because you may have two different firms that do this.
Right.
One that looks at what needs to be done and then the actual contractor. And we wanted to make it flexible enough for that because
Yeah.
they're gonna have to do some of their own analysis.
Right, okay.
Would you have a point at which they can visit the site and give tours?
So once we have that, it is in there.
It is?
It just doesn't have a date or location yet because we want to wait and see once we get the okay from Stephen and all of you and add in these additional points, we will do that.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so again, this is the same thing. We just want to authorize the sending out of the RFP.
And you will get a final copy because it's draft right now. If there's any substantial changes that have not been discussed here, I'll bring it back to you next month.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that there won't be substantial changes and we can get it out, but I want to make sure that you know what you're approving. This just says barring any big substantial changes, we will get it.
All right, so.
Is the city the owner of the building?
We are.
I know we are, but I mean, so how are we paying them?
So the city will be working with you about financing through that.
Okay,
So it will be us who pay it, but we're gonna finance it with you.
So it has to come through.
So yes,
Okay.
it'll be an agreement from the city to the IDA to do this.
For background.
And would like that memo in the check.
I thought I said that. Okay.
Want me to memorialize that? in the minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I was just gonna say, so what we'll do is it's like a pre-authorization, just to go ahead and finish the package and send it out. You have a question?
Yeah, just for
We
the
authorize that.
bids, so the base bid, and then there's an alternate bid.
Mhm.
So the base bid, and this is just from my understanding more than anything else, it includes collapsing the foundation, but not removing the foundation material, so it stays underground.
So again, this will come up on what they're able to remove and not remove. It's an interesting demolition. I think
Yeah.
one of the potential people that CNS had identified
Mhm.
wants to use it more for a training purpose because you're collapsing a building within a building.
Okay,
And so they will be asked to remove as much as possible, but some of it may be tied to structural things and other things. The other piece, because we cannot get into the building, it will likely be taken down as what is known as hot. which is a little more expensive because they will collapse inward on everything and then remove.
The way I understand it is they don't have to remediate asbestos before demo.
Okay,
There is a way to do that. You have to apply
As
to the state,
okay,
but it's more expensive and everything that's torn down has to go to a specific type of landfill. So
Okay.
it's more expensive. If they abate first, it's expensive too, especially since they could find more and more and more stuff. And working in a bad environment, you know, that could collapse on them. So it's probably going to be that. That's what I understand.
and that's exactly it. You then, when you do it this way, you assume everything has asbestos, and that's why it goes to that specialized facility. When you do it the abatement way, you can identify, but you don't know what you're getting into. This is an older building. We know what this facility was used for. We know when it was developed, when it was created. It's not just asbestos abatement. There are other toxins that could be there, so we're going in the direction of all at once. Unless someone comes up with a really great proposal that aligns.
And Steve looks at this, right? Before
Yes,
it's final.
yes, that's who's got it right now.
I have one other quick question. The state, have they given any, as you said, they're being really good to work with, but have they indicated any deadline on this at all?
So they are not pushing this component because we don't have people going in and out of this
Okay.
facility. It's condemned. It's a little separate. The component that they are looking at is where are people actually using and actively using the building?
Okay.
Are there things that it's Department of Labor, so they're concerned about the employees, which we are as well. So that's
So,
separate.
okay, gotcha.
One more quick question. And Nicole, are you able to get or are interested in getting those anything up there? It's such fascinating stuff.
Can't go in a condemned building to get in.
Yeah,
It's
What am I gonna do?
it's all over, yeah. Just curious.
And one of the challenges too is there's a lot of mold, there's a lot of water damage, there's a lot of intrusion. It's
Oh, yeah.
not a safe.
Dead animals, you know.
Photographed.
Yeah.
The documents themselves, I don't know if we would be able to,
Do anything
Clean up.
with it,
yeah,
yeah.
to clean them, like,
Right.
yeah, I know we don't have money to do,
Little history going down, yeah.
yeah.
Fortunately, a large amount of those have been scanned or available other places.
Yeah.
There will be some documentation, and it's not just city specific documents. There are other agencies, court administration and others that have found their way there. There's also, yeah, as you said, animals and other things.
Yeah,
Mostly dead end.
Yeah, I don't know.
we don't know the alive ones. They were hiding if they were there.
Kyle, just for your, are you familiar with the building, the American Can building?
Okay,
Okay, we own that.
okay.
Had it for about 30 years, the IDA has, and there's one of the original buildings with Geneva Cutlery. It's a 3-story building that's on the track side of there's a new building, and then it's kind of right in between where the DPW occupies the space, and that's been exposed to weather for 15 years anyway, you know, and it's the floors have collapsed inside it, and the roof is pretty bad shape, and the city has condemned it. So we're taking it down.
Okay.
With the city's help.
I think on that too, just so you're aware, the city does fire inspections and other things in that facility as well to ensure that safety component. As we find things, this is always the consistent struggle because you've selected the city also to be the executive director and staff to the IDA. So there's often these
Overlap.
two components, which in some cases is helpful. In some places, I feel like I wear 2 roles all of the time because you contract with the city.
Yeah, and I have to take a mutual friend of ours to his infusion right now, but I wanted to just pass on that at the last city council meeting, they appointed a second oversight committee, ad hoc committee, and this is the one on downtown and economic development. And in our discussions at city council about that, there was an understanding that the issues that the city may have in our role in our operations of the IDA would be part of that committee's focus
Right.
going forward. And some of the questions I've been raising will go there to that committee. The first committee, the ad hoc finance committee, has had its first meeting, and from the good people he has on there, it has raised a whole lot of financial issues that were kind of new to us. Long-term debt of the city calculated using ongoing obligations for retirement and healthcare for retirees and things like that, that really need to be part of the discussion of the city. So I think I'm just one of 9, as I always remind you, but I do think we're gonna see a whole lot of tougher questions coming in at the council and about the city's true finances and pressure to look to the county and for collaboration more to figure out how we're gonna deal with the financial situation of the city. I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay.
Nothing specific. He did say to me after the meeting that he would be in touch with you. So
Sounds
you're
good.
familiar with what involvement they may ask of you.
Okay, all right, thanks for that report. All right. We look forward to your resistance.
Look forward to your resistance.
That's a joke.
Oh, he missed that part.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
We'll fill you in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the, right now, we're looking for the release of the demolition RFP. It's actually a pre-authorization kind of with the caveat that Amy will get back to us once this is firmed up and for us to review, and we can put it through a second routine of approval if necessary. All right, I'd like a motion to do that. Thank you, Jan. Second, thanks, Josh. And
This side of the table.
Kyle, you're safe. It's your first meeting.
Right here in the middle.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay,
With that, sadly, I have to run.
okay, all right,
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. okay.
Thank you.
So there's some ongoing projects that Amy's gonna talk about. I think the ad hoc committee, Chris just kind of gave us on the economic thing, but
Yeah.
Amy, do you want to just bring us up to speed on some of this stuff?
Yep, so the diner train update, I know in your executive committee, which I couldn't be part of, I did discuss that, and there has been or will be communications with Jerry on where we stand with that. That has been approved that parcel of land has been approved for sale. We just have to work through the contract arrangement. So that parcel of land is down near Lake Winery in that area. And this is a literal train that used to be the diner that will come back as the diner. And we've sold that land contingent on the fact that this project will go forward.
It's actually a diner company that built it in the 30s. It's not from.
An
a train.
actual train?
No, it's a diner company that built it. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. I'll call him because he doesn't use internet at all.
Yes, do you know that? And I'm guessing it's too cold to be operating the other business right now.
Oh, I've eaten there 5 times because his hamburgers are really good. They're only $3.
Tell it's walking there soon. Ad hoc committee, as Counselor Lavin indicated, Mayor Sistery has created some ad hoc committees. They're comprised of non-council members and non-council members. The Finance Ad Hoc Committee began last month. This newest one is for downtown economic development. He did list the members at council. I do not have that list in front of me. I do know that the council members are Counselor Brennan and Petropoulos. One or two may be members of some of the boards, the BID, the IDA, or LDC. I think Shauna is on the BID. But they're not composed of those entities. They are outside members. They may have been past members of some of those entities to do a review on economic development downtown.
I think just one thing, just because I think sometimes it gets a little confusing, but it's an advisory, like the committee is of an advisory nature for the council, not for those agencies. And then the council can obviously take those recommendations and then we'll see how that interacts with these bodies. But it is not an oversight mechanism for those agencies, as sometimes I think it gets confused.
Yes. Thank you, Taylor. And then
Ryan would like to be invited.
Oh,
and they are public meetings, so
Yes.
I will say that they are public meetings. Once we know when those meetings are, we can share, and I know Mayor Cicero reached out to you and, no, he did not. Okay, he was going to reach out to you. And then the chair of the LDC and the executive director of the BID to let you know more about these committee meetings. I will make sure that Ontario County Economic Development also is aware of these things. I will, they will seek information from you as well. And we will provide that. I think one point of clarity that has come up and will come up in this conversation, I recently had someone ask about the salary stipend that I receive from the IDA or the LDC or staff receive. I just want to be clear and on the record, we do not receive that. You do contract with the city and it goes into the city fund balance and then is part of our entire compensation package that all of our employees have. It is not an add-on bonus. I wish it were, but it is not. It's part of that.
It seemed as though Chris was concerned about that.
I think many people have that impression for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because when we contracted with an outside agent, I don't know where it comes from. But I think we can do some work on the clarifying. I think the other thing that this committee will look at is where there are duplications and overlap. You did go through a study with the other entities not too long ago, and we'll be pulling that out, I'm sure, soon to make sure that there is that basic understanding.
Okay, I'd like to keep moving here. The Department of Labor, you pretty much took
Did it.
care of that. And Chris had his brief moment.
And then Mel is here from.
You have anything from the?
I don't have much. I know that Ryan just wanted to make sure that he was invited to the economic development and to let you know that they're wrapping up interviews for the housing person. So that'll be exciting to get them started. And then something on my end, I was actually at FLCC this week doing the boot camp for ACT Work Ready Community. And it's very exciting. I think it's a huge initiative for the region. FLCC is just kind of the front of the train, but they want everybody on board. The Yates County, Seneca County, Wayne County, and Ontario County were represented at the boot camp. And then also K through 12 and Wayne Kimberly exposed case. So it's a program that incorporates education with workforce development, which in turn helps economic development. There's only one county within New York that currently is certified work ready community, which is Oswego. And Monroe County and some of their surrounding counties are also in the process of getting this started for the work ready community certification and national certification. And it's useful to economic development because there are people who use the data for workforce development for site selection, right? So I do have this little flyer that they made for the summit that's coming up in March. So this is free. You can sign up for it. It's to learn more about it and how employers and business owners can utilize this tool to help them with their workforce for their growth. So I'll leave that and you guys can get more informed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can send that or scan it and send it to all of you so you have it as well.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, I think we have an executive session, just one quick thing, but
For sale property. We have to say what your executive session.
I'm sorry, motion to executive session to discuss sale or release of real property held by the IDA. I'd like a motion going to executive session.
He'll make it.
All right, thank you, RJ, and seconded by Lowell, thank you.
Yes.
Let
got
me
it.
stop the YouTube
Yep.
before we do anything else.
Okay.
please.
Here we go out.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
I think Mel is
Yeah,
heading out.
Yeah.
So I'm stopping the live stream.